here's something I don't talk about a lot, and I really don't even like talking about this, but I will, and because I think it's very important, and and I think a lot of people don't talk about it because either they don't want to admit it, or they don't realize it. They don't think about it. It's not something they're conscious about. But early on my way up, I had very negative self-talk. I mean, very negative self-talk. And I think that, we can get into like the reasons why and all that. And I'm not gonna even though I find psychology to be very, very interesting, I won't get into the reasons why, because honestly, I don't know the reasons why. Is it how we're brought up? Is it our experiences? Is it self-preservation? I don't know. But when I say negative self-talk, it's always very negative. Like, why am I messing up? Why am I doing this? Why am I so dumb? Why am I not smarter? Why don't I have better education? Like all this, like every day, all the time. And there was a point I remember, actually remember very specifically. It was at my old house. I was in my office, and I'm walking out of my office one day, and I remember thinking, because I had a home office, and I remember thinking, I wouldn't talk to someone else the way I'm talking to myself. And if someone else talked to me like this, I wouldn't talk to them, and I would never let someone talk to my kids the way I'm talking to myself. And it occurred to me at that time that if there's no one in life that's gonna cheerlead you, that's gonna be behind you, that's gonna push you, that's gonna motivate you, aside from your mom, your spouse, and maybe your kids. Okay? Other than that, no one's gonna do anything for you like that. And that's not even a negative thing. That's not even saying like, oh, people are bad. No, you know why? Because people have their own shit to deal with. People have their own problems. People have their own issues. People have their own bills. People have their own families. People have their own circumstances, jobs, customers, whatever it might be. So people have time to coddle you, okay? For anyone, for younger people out there, that's a lesson. For you older people out there, you understand, like, that's life, and that's okay. That's just the way it is. You deal with life the way it is. So anyways, I was really negative on how I talked to myself, and I realized that I needed to change that. And even now, to this day, I catch myself being negative, but I will correct it. And the reason why I think it's so important, or what's the word I'm looking for? Important. I think it's important to know how you're communicating with yourself, because you are the person who knows you, right? Obviously, right? But if you're negative to yourself, you're shooting yourself in the foot. You're not doing yourself any favors. And I'm not saying not to be honest with yourself, because I think it's actually very important to be honest with yourself, and that's a whole other video, and that's actually something else we'll cover at some point, because I think being honest with yourself is very, very important. I think most people don't do that. I think most people ignore that because it's a hard thing to do. It's a very, very hard thing to do. But I think sometimes when you're negative, that's almost overcompensating on the other side. Like, you think you're being honest with yourself, but you're hurting yourself. You're absolutely hurting yourself. And if you're doing that, you got to stop. And there's not, it's not something like, well, it's a 3-step process. No, you just stop doing it. You just stop doing it. Become your biggest cheerleader. Become your biggest fan. Because here's the thing in life, no one else is going to do it for you. Aside from your mom, maybe your spouse, and your kids, okay? And a lot of times, not even your spouse. Sometimes your spouse, but a lot of times not, okay? You got to become your biggest cheerleader. You got to be positive yourself. You got to encourage yourself, because you know yourself. And you wouldn't talk to someone else like that. So don't talk. We'll finish it. We'll wrap it up on this. You want to talk to someone else like that? Don't talk to yourself like that.